Gab and Jam, episode 64.
Yes.
And our topic today is underappreciated musical geniuses, and that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And we have a list of 8, but as always, feel free to add.
Yeah.
As you see fit.
Yep, that's true. So underappreciated musical geniuses. And I'll let you know I am discounting myself from this batch, a crop of musical geniuses that are underappreciated.
I'm not sure if you should.
I'm just gonna do it,
Okay.
My humility has no boundaries. So, my unlimited amount of humility that I have, I will
You'll forfeit. Okay, I love it. All right, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we mean by underappreciated musical geniuses? What is that topic? What is the impetus for that?
So I guess there are some certain people who are just recognized as musical geniuses. Like we can take Prince, people like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and I think maybe in later years, Stevie Wonder probably not as much, but there are just certain people who we kind of recognize as being musical geniuses, and a lot of people have been saying that about Beyonce and some of these other artists who are out there. But I think over the years, there's been a certain amount of artists who I think kind of get overlooked.
Okay.
And public dialogue, or discussion when we start talking about musical geniuses and the like. And so also kind of excluded from this list would be like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Right.
So there's certain musical geniuses that I think we kind of recognize over a period of time. Ludwig von Beethoven.
So some of them posthumously, but still.
Okay. You know what I mean? Duke Ellington. I think Louis Armstrong, Charlie Bird Parker. Jaco Pastorius. So there's certain people I think have been kind of like not just musical geniuses, but pioneers with respect to their instruments. Stanley Clarke. So I understand. I know that those people are out there. However, if you want to throw them out there, you want to say some stuff about them, please feel free to do that. Okay?
Right.
So, but these are just the ones that we feel like just never quite get their due.
Right. That we've known about the things that they have accomplished over the years.
Right.
But that they're still bubbling under the surface. They haven't bubbled up yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So.
All right. So the first one we'll start with is somebody we just heard the music being played before the Bella Flat concert was Todd Rundgren.
Yeah, Todd Rundgren is just, he's a guy whose hands have been on a whole bunch of different things that, you'd be surprised that he had something to do with. But at the same token, I mean, he has done so many different, I guess, styles of records. Whether it's with Utopia, solo records. I heard him do an a cappella version of Mighty Love by the Spinners.
Okay.
I hadn't heard that before, and I heard him do that, and it was different. It was really unique. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be. It was Todd Rundgren making that song his own.
Okay.
And so, so again, to me, he's one of those underappreciated musical geniuses with respect to the instruments that he plays, the production, songwriting, just having all of it. He definitely has the whole package, and I think a lot of times he's not really recognized the way that he should. I could be wrong. You guys check me on this, but I don't think he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay, so we got to check.
So I don't think he is. Okay. But hey, hold me to the fire on that. If he is, if I overlooked that, let me know. Okay. But I don't think he is, and I think that's a shame. So anyway.
Okay, cool.
That's
I agree with that one. That was one he snuck up on me years ago.
Right.
And like you said, he's always bubbling under the surface. The next one snuck up on me, but I'm sure you knew a little bit more about Neil Young and what he has accomplished. I know politically he was able to take the hit for feeling the way he wanted to feel and standing against his own fan base.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Young is another one of those, he's a strange artist, and in the sense that, I think he's a Canadian-born artist who is known for Americana.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I guess you can say Americana, meaning that Canadian is technically on the continent of America. Yeah. But when we talk about Americana, we're talking about, like, you know, you think about the United States, Midwest, kind of part of the United States, you know, going on down south and that type of thing. He seems to epitomize that guy in so many ways, but in so many ways he kind of pisses that guy off.
Right.
And he doesn't mind pissing that guy off. And it started off a long time ago with Leonard Skinner and, you know, Sweet Home Alabama saying, you know, Southern man don't need Neil Young, you know. So I mean,
so they recognized then that there was something askew about.
But it's because he's never shied away from speaking his mind politically. He's never done that. Even during the Bush years, I remember watching some type of documentary we were seeing, and Neil Young did not mind going political, understanding that half his audience was going to be pissed off, and they actually walked out of the concert. And he didn't care.
Right.
That's just who Neil Young is. So whether it's as a solo artist, or whether it's with, you know, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, or whether it was in a band with Rick James, which was interesting to find out that they played together. So yeah, Neil Young is yet another one for me. So.
Well, and then also just his shifts in genres. I mean, I never even associated the Americana Neil Young with the 80s and all that experimental, like 80s synth things that he did. And I don't know why. When I go back, I see the videos, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But in the lexicon of Neil Young, I never thought, it didn't come to mind.
Right, or like when he felt like rock and roll was being way too commercialized, and he did that "This Note's for You" song, where, you know, that was kind of like he was sick of, you know, Pepsi, Budweiser, all of these, you know, different firms coming in and commercializing music, and him just really kind of sticking it to it. And he's just always kind of had that spirit. Or, you know, the fact that he, you know, that Kent State massacre that happened in the, you know, in the early 70s, and he did Ohio based on that. Again, this guy, you know, who is kind of like this interloper into, you know, United States society, who epitomizes everything of a moment that is more, I guess, United States history, Americana related than anything else. And really, to me, Neil Young, to me, exemplifies what I think a patriot is. You know, to me, that's what a true patriot is in the United States, and that's what makes the United States special. Is the fact that when you are a patriot, you are one that rails against the system. You're not one that aligns yourself blindly with the system. You know, because you think about that, a person who aligns himself blindly with the system, whether it's Nazi Germany or whatever fascist type of dictatorship could be in, if you are a person who will align yourself like that, then you're never going to be a threat. You're never going to, and you don't need democracy, free speech, and all the rest of that kind of stuff. To
be able to just say, I'm going to go along.
Right. You know, what the Founding Fathers put together, and I'm going on a whole different tangent, was essentially, the Founding Fathers laid the groundwork, and I'm about to bring this right back home, y'all, so that we can have Neil Young as a part of our society today. That's what the First Amendment is about. That's what it epitomizes, so that we can have those type of artists.
Those type of discussions, too.
Yes. Be a part of what we do today. So, I told you I'll
bring it back home.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Political Science Professor. The next artist on the list is somebody I have learned to appreciate over the years for not only his bass playing, but his composing and making bass songs that I actually like to listen to, and that is Marcus Miller.
Yeah, Marcus Miller is an amazing instrumentalist, and I say that, you know, I think to categorize him just as a bass player does him a disservice. It really does, because not only is he a great bass player, but, you know, he can play several different instruments very well. But he's an excellent producer. But he is also a tremendous songwriter and arranger. You know, that this is a guy who, a lot of that stuff that we heard with Luther Vandross, Marcus Miller was behind producing
and
that
I
stuff.
didn't realize that so recently,
And that's, you know, David Sanborn, you know, I think it's the last 2 or 3 Miles Davis albums were all done by Marcus Miller, and this guy has a way of having his own voice, but when it's time for him to disappear, he can disappear. You know, and so did the Boomerang soundtrack for the Eddie Murphy movie. Marcus Miller is, to me, he's one of those geniuses that he very underappreciated, probably in the shadow of people like Prince and all the rest of those other people, but to me, just as talented as any of those guys that are out there. So I mean, I aspire to be like Marcus Miller, not just with bass playing, but and when I say bass playing, just having my own voice, making sure I have my own voice. That when you hear me play, you know it's me. As opposed to thinking I'm Marcus Miller or whoever else. But also, to be able to arrange songs, write songs the way that he does, produce songs the way that he does. So that's why he's on the list for me.
Yeah, I love it. Another one, we just finished watching her documentary for the third, maybe fourth time. Is Imogen Heap.
Yeah, Imogen Heap is.
And she was one of those people I heard about over the years and never knew who she was and what she did. And then I know a few years back with Jason Derulo doing the What You Say song, he sampled her song. And then recently Ariana Grande just redid one of her songs. I'm not even sure which one. But yeah, so there are people who kind of appreciated her over the years, but she's always been under the surface. Never this big, flashy... Not here that I can recall in America.
And what group was she with?
She was with Frou Frou and I forgot who the other group. Oh. Some other group.
I know she was with other groups at one time. I guess when we watched it was the video. Basically, it was the making of the Lips album, right? Yeah. And what really struck me is not only is she amazing songwriter, amazing musician, but producer. She's a producer extraordinaire. I mean, the woman is unbelievable with the stuff that she does and her attention to detail in the studio. That floored me,
and then she's creative. I like that. I love her dress. In fact, it's kind of inspired by watching the video again. Right. But not only her dress, but also the fact that she, did the cup, fill the cups with water and sample that, it's that she was using instruments, toy pianos and the creaky door and just all kinds of unusual things in order to create her sound. So.
Well, that's the thing I admire about her too, is that, her perfectionism doesn't get in the way of her artistic creativity. Yeah,
and that's unusual.
And that's a really a good thing. The fact that she finds that balance. Now she does say that she was on the verge of insanity. Yeah. When making that, and I can understand it because of that balance that she has to strike between the two. I mean, it's definitely a left brain, right brain type of thing that's happening simultaneously.
On the pedal, right off the pedal.
Yeah, with her throughout, which is it's a phenomenal thing to watch.
Yeah, and, it is.
And to me, it's I take my hat off to her. I was telling you, I just no way I could do production like she does.
It's just inspiring.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, so that was wonderful. I like that. Also, another person that has always been, I guess, my mother, quote unquote, is the kids say now about Beyonce, is Kate Bush for me. Yeah. So I know she's another Canadian on the list.
Another Canadian artist who is just amazing. Kate Bush goes back a long time and phenomenal artist. I think Prince liked her a while
back.
With
the red shoes, he was on that album. Yeah.
But she's always marched to her own drum. Yeah. That's the thing I liked about Kate Bush. She probably could have been a bigger artist, especially in the 80s, if she just kind of compromised and did things in a more commercial way. But instead, she was just always out there doing her own thing. And, she kind of gave rise to, artists like Sarah MacLachlan and a lot of female artists who kind of came behind her. But, she's definitely one who I think is almost forgotten now, and I think that's a shame. Yeah. I really think that's a shame.
Another one that we've always appreciated his ability to, I guess, have a voice and continue to make music that I think he likes and collaborate with people that are unusual is Ben Harper.
Yeah, Ben Harper is an amazing. I mean, he's a guy who everything starts with the blues. Mm-hmm. I mean, for Ben Harper, it starts with the blues. The part that's weird about Ben Harper is that when you hear that, you might think Ben Harper is more of a Jimi Hendrix type of clone type person, but he's not. I mean, he comes from a different angle, but it's still blues.
Yeah,
and it's still rock.
Yeah, I really like the rock album.
But it comes from a whole different space, you know, and then he's also one that's prone to meld in gospel elements.
Yeah,
you know, he did that album with the Blind Boys of Alabama. He will throw in a world aspect to it, you know, my own two hands.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
You know, and then he will also throw a funk element into it. You know, so you'll hear a little bit of James Brown, you know, early kind of funky kind of stuff. But at the root of all of that, and I think the glue that kind of holds all that together, the whole cohesive blood flow through the whole artwork is the blues.
Yeah,
that's always there with what Ben Harper does. So and you know, you got to hear his version of Sexual Healing.
Oh yeah,
that is a magnificent version of that song. I mean, that's one of those type of things where you don't have to feel like it competes with the original because it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It's its own thing.
Yep.
It's in its own world. And to me, if you're gonna touch a song like that, that's what you gotta do with it.
Right, make it your own.
You gotta take it there.
I love it. Another artist that I don't know how many people know about her, but I mean, she did an Apple commercial. The music was used for that. Right. It's Feist. And she's still really a quiet, I guess, force where she's, you know, making music all these years and, you know, without a lot of notoriety. But yeah, and her creativity. I like, again, she uses the toy instruments. She does a lot of that. But yeah.
Where'd you first hear Feist?
I think it was the Apple commercial.
Okay.
Around the time we learned about PSAP with the Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
And I think it was down that same time frame.
Okay.
That I realized that, oh yeah, we had heard her and I didn't know. And you know, and then I started listening to My Moon, My Man, and then the remixes. Then she did the more disco type record. So she's just kind of always been there for me for I don't know, past almost 20 years.
Oh, so you've been going down that rabbit hole for a while.
Yeah. Okay. And I just think that it's just amazing again that she goes into so many different places and doesn't seem afraid.
Right.
And still continues to make records.
I guess that to me is always the upside of the music industry. I mean, a lot of times we do feel like these artists deserve a lot more attention than what they get. But I think the beauty of the music industry where we are today is that it appears that, you know, these are notwithstanding that fact, that these artists are still able to put out their work and, you know, and to make enough of a living where it appears that, you know, they have a sustainable career, even though it might not be a mainstream career. And so sometimes, you know, in a way, the fact that they don't have the spotlight shined on them may actually be, you know, a blessing in disguise.
Keeps them right.
You know, and maybe that's what preserves them.
Yeah.
Is that they're not exposed to that type of limelight. And, you know, and not
oversaturated.
Forced, right, and not forced to try to duplicate.
Yeah, somebody else's success or even their own success.
Because sometimes, you know, you could be hurt by having that Purple Rain.
Yeah.
You know, record or that Thriller record. That those things are things that could be, you know, your downfall. So
yeah, like her. And then of course we mentioned a little bit earlier that Kate Bush probably paved the way, but Sarah MacLachlan has been one that from the time, I know she's been out since she was 17, and we've been following her ever since with the Box album.
Yeah, going to concerts, things like that.
Yeah, and then she, you know, organized the Lilith Fair, and you know, just a quiet force, but always there.
Right. And
always doing her thing.
And I was listening to Volume the other day, and they were speculating that when she allowed her song, I guess, to be used for the dog commercial. The one about the using dog commercial, that kind of killed her career because, you know, people start, every time you hear Sarah MacLachlan, you start thinking about abused dogs and all. So it was a great cause and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh my goodness.
Right,
yeah. But, you know, notwithstanding that, Sarah MacLachlan has always been, a killer artist, a killer songwriter, musician, singer.
Yeah.
You know, again, another one of those, you know, artists who has the whole package and probably definitely gets overlooked. You know, a lot more than what she should. And maybe a lot of times, especially when we're talking about this with female artists, is that I think there might be reluctance in a male-driven feel to recognize women as being musical geniuses. You know, I mean, so whether it's, you know, Sarah MacLachlan or, you know, one that we didn't bring up, Joni Mitchell, you know, because Joni Mitchell, you know, with all her different tunings that she does on guitar and the fact that, you know, she covered so many different types of music from jazz and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, if you hear that Hygeia album, I'm probably saying that incorrectly. But anyway, you know, she's got that album, her and Jaco Pastorius. It's unbelievable, the conversation, the musical conversation that they have with one another on those songs. I mean, it is unreal. You know, and she is holding her own with Jaco. I mean, you need both of them.
To make that
in
work.
order to make that work. It is. I mean, and that's the way that it works. And if you ever had any doubt about her being a genius, about her being a great songwriter, musician, just check that record out. It's unbelievable. You know how great she is.
Well, now the only other person that I know probably should have been on the list, and I've neglected to put her on the list, but is my other mother, I call her, is Bjork. Because she visually, orally, you know, that she's been around forever, and that she strives, it seems like, to always make a unique statement, even if sometimes for me it becomes uncomfortable. Right. There are some videos where I'm like, oh, okay. But again, just the fact that she's putting herself out there like that, and it doesn't seem like it's just for commercial success, because there hasn't been a whole lot of commercial success with it, but she keeps doing her thing, and that is what I appreciate most about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's yet another one, whether it was a work with the Sugar Cube.
Yeah.
And to me, she's such a great collaborative artist. You know, how she brings in different people, she gets different things out of them. But I don't care what she does, it's always her. It is always her. It is, I mean, her voice is definitive. It's one that is unmistakably her. And to me, that is a true sign of genius, because to have a voice that distinct and to be able to do all the different things that she's done over her career is, even when she did the big band stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. I mean, it's like, you know, when she did it, it was like, wow. Yeah. That's her. She owned it. Yeah. It didn't feel like, you know, it was her stuck on top of something. No, it was definitely what it was meant to be, but it was her doing it.
Through her voice,
And and her interpreting it, and, you know, and so to me, you know, just like Frank Sinatra interprets that song, she does that. Yeah. She does that same thing. So, I think she is definitely a genius. So,
what do you guys think? Do you have people that you think should be added to our list of underappreciated musical genius? If you do, please let us know. Drop it in the comments below. Yeah. Coming up soon, we have London.
Yeah, we have London in August.
Yeah, in August, so not that long. Not that long. If you happen to be in the area, if you want to hook up, there's a link below so that we can save space for you. Maybe we'll do a meetup. Maybe we'll do a jam session. Right. I'm not sure. Oh, if you know of any good music stores. Music stores and or Rockstar clothing. We're always in the market for Rockstar gear. So.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if there's some places I can go, you know, check out some guitars, things like that. Let me know.
Cool.
So I definitely like to do that. So.
As always, if you dig the vibe, make sure you
subscribe.
And we're wishing you love, peace, and peace. Yes.